Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. Had a little technical difficulties getting in here today. Damn, where my shit at? My bad. But anyway, y'all see the thumbnail. Teofimo Lopez got the connects, y'all. He got the connects. But we're gonna see how far them connects go. But Bob Arum, that's a weird type of person, but it's like he makes sense, but he don't make sense. But we're going to get into that and much more. But first, y'all know the drill. Let's turn to it. Welcome back to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, CDT. You can refer to me as Miss T or just plain OTT. Y'all see the thumbnail? Teofimo Lopez got the connects. Looks who's next on the agenda. And y'all see the picture. Y'all will see is Josh Taylor. So what is Bob Arum cooking up exactly? We're going to revisit, rehash some old information about Josh Taylor's situation, just a little bit off the top of my dome. He's not a fighter that you just readily remember all the time. But before we get into all that, we gotta get into the water check. And look at this. I gotta turn this down. Why would they be calling me this time of night? But anyway, water check. So we know here at Boxing Fans Talk TV, we advocate that the average human being drink at least 100 ounces of water per day. And we know that any adult out there, we could drink like 128 ounces very easy. So we just say drink y'all water winter, spring, summer, fall. You never know when it come in handy. We know that most people do not drink water. They're not big water drinkers. So we say at least twice a day you should drink water. And that's first thing in the morning, before your toes hit the ground, before you get off into your morning routine. You should have on a nightstand sitting waiting 8 ounces of water. Now, I tell everybody to learn how to drink your water at room temperature, but some people prefer their water cold, as I do too. But learn how to drink it either way. But get it down, guzzle it down. If you think of your body as an engine and the water is the lube, the water is going to help your body move things efficiently and in a timely manner. So drink your water up. You need it. It's a lot of work that's being done once the engine turn on, basically when you wake up and get to going in the morning. The second time is at night when you get out your shower or get out the tub. You throw your pajamas on. What you do? You watch a program or two, or you read a passage in a book or a magazine article or something. So in that little time that you're doing that, while you're trying to wait to drift off to sleep, and the deep sleep, not a cat nap, then you drink you some water, and all you need is 8 ounces there too. Again, room temperature or cold. Hell, we even advocate that you get you a little mini fridge, put it in your room. Put it upstairs so people don't have to trek down to the kitchen to go get whatever from the refrigerator. Knowing when you get there, you're gonna be like, while I'm here, let me go ahead on and whip this bad boy up, and let me pull out these leftovers and this, that, and the other. So, and to avoid all that, go ahead and get you a mini fridge for upstairs, and store your refreshments in that. And like I say, you drank you some water right before bed. A lot of work is going on in your deep sleep. You got revamping, recharging, rebooting, recreating. That part right there takes a lot of work, more than you think. It seemed effortless to you because you don't need no assistance. All you got to do is go to sleep and let the magic happen. But with all that work, a fun fact, the average human being burns between 900 to 1,000 calories in a deep sleep. You can't do that in a cat nap. But in a deep sleep, when you go through the different realms of sleep, you'll burn by like 900 to 1,000 calories. That's more than you can burn in a workout. A person that think they go hardcore in the gym, balls to wall workout, they be burning like 300 calories. Well, in the deep sleep, 900 to 1,000 is more, right? So that's why you drink your water. You help things move along and get where they got to get, and be efficient, and do it in a timely manner. Plus, you're going to help move things along first thing in the morning, because y'all know what most of us do when we get up first thing. So I'm just saying, drink your water in 2023. There's no reason why any of us should be dehydrated. Now that I got that out the way, let's move on to some light housekeeping. Please, 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 in my humblest voice ever, hit that like and share button and subscribe. If you already subscribed, there's no need to do so. You're already locked in. But hit the like and share button, especially if you're watching me on replay. Hit that like and share button. Leave a comment. I do read your comments. I take things in consideration if they make logical sense. But please, please, do that. And if you have a question about anything that I've said in the past or the present, or you know me so well, you know how I think, you know how I talk, you know what I'm going to say in the future. You got a question about what I could potentially say, hit me up. I talk to you guys. Y'all know, y'all out there, I be talking back and forth with you. I get back with you as soon as I can. And sometimes I might make a whole show out of it, or a little short. So, definitely hit me up with any questions or anything that you have that I've said. Now, I know I've been gone for a week. I've explained to y'all. For some of y'all who just getting back in here, I had a death in my family, but I didn't even make the funeral because I got sick myself. So I wound up being in the hospital for some days. I just got out the hospital a couple of days ago. I'm fine. I know y'all be like, damn, this girl stay sick, but I'm fine. And I'm on the mend. And guess what? I finally saw, this week, I finally saw a doctor that I needed to see for the last 12 years. I didn't know existed. I didn't know these type doctors existed. But I think they found out what my issue is when it comes to these allergies and all these frequent, over the top ER visits that I have to do all the time because of allergies that nearly be taking my life out of here. Like, y'all know that I suffer from allergies so bad that, my throat and tongue and stuff like that be swelling my lip, to the point it's cutting off my oxygen. So finally found out what I can do, and it's a simple fix. I don't want to speak too soon because I got this superstition thing about jinxing myself. But the doctor seemed very optimistic, and she was like very adamant. She was like, "Look, this gonna work." And I'm like, I was so emotional. I ain't gonna lie. Miss T get emotional for real. I got emotional. I was like, whoa. Because I've been suffering from it for like 12 years and nobody thought to send me in that direction. And I wouldn't know. But, and I'm going to share, but I don't want to send people, I don't talk about nothing unless I know for a fact, unless I experience stuff. I share everything, that I learn and what I feel that makes a difference in everything. Because guess what? I've had a lifetime of finding out shit after the fact. I didn't even know I had this condition I have until I was in my mid to late 30s. And then I didn't know how to fix it until just now. So see, but what I have and what I experienced is common as apple pie. And why wasn't I told? I couldn't tell you guys. A lot of people got my problem and they fix it in childhood. Not me though. So anywho, but I'm happy. I ain't gonna be crying about it, but I did get emotional. So that's what Miss T been doing all week. So I'm back. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Glad to see y'all piling in. And we're gonna talk some good boxing. And when I started this channel, right, we know the hot ticket items to be talking about when it comes to boxing, but I want to talk about everything boxing. I'm a fan of boxing, period. So I think all boxing news is good news and everything. And so even though some boxing news trend more than others, but here at this channel, you're going to find out about a little bit of everything, whether it's hot or not. Of course, when it's time to talk about scary fish, PGH, I get into it too. Excuse me for the coughing and everything. Yeah, like I said, I got to get it all the way back together. Anyway, PGH Big Dog is in the building. What's poppin', King? Says salute Queen T. 512 Boxing, aka Big Texas. What's poppin', King? He said, yo, what's poppin'? And then PGA said Battle of the Ducks. Teo Lopez versus Duck Taylor. Ah, look at you. PGA, is that what you feel about it? Both of them? Hey, I don't like I'm not a fan of Taylor. I ain't say I don't like him. I'm not a fan of his. That when he fought Regis Prograis, I thought they cheated for him. I wonder, do you feel that way, PGA? I really did thought they cheated for him. Because I thought Regis won. But I accepted it. I was like, he fought hard. He's a cheater. And I understand, and let me clarify, y'all, for those who might not know me. When I call people cheaters, I don't liberally just give you that moniker. I don't casually give you that name. But like I understand that fighters fight rough. Because I know people like Miss T though. I mean, this is fighting, Miss T. They bowing. They doing this, they doing that. That's how dudes do when they fight, Miss T. I get it. Like, the bowing. Because, one of my favorite fighters, Floyd Mayweather, TBE himself, was famous for connecting with that elbow. He knew how to work it out. Brother know how to work it out. He know how to get that elbow in there. You know what I'm saying? And I never got upset when he did it. So I can't be a hypocrite. But it's the way he did it. He threw the punch, and if you follow the punch all the way through, or the motion all the way through, that's how he connected the elbow. If you rushed into him, he just put it up in front of him. So you pretty much ran into it. So in those respect, I didn't get mad at Floyd, but it's still throwing elbows, right? I don't like when you throw elbows any other kind of way, because then that's obvious, right? But Josh Taylor will hit you in all the no spots in boxing. And he will abuse that shit. He will hit you, and he'll hit you behind your head. And at that point I'm like, well, you know what we know what happens when people get those kind of injuries. Are you trying to maim this dude? I mean, he's probably a husband, he's probably a father. You don't want him to play with his kids? What are you doing? You know, I be asking questions like that. Josh Taylor, one of them grimy fighters like that. So I don't like him. That's why I said I'm not a big fan of his, because he will use fair and unfair tactics. And I don't think he's above cheating, right? He's also, now I said we can't just throw the Kinahan thing around lightly. He is also one person who did not want to denounce him. Now, I can't tell you how involved he was with the man, and I'm not going to tell you he was involved with the man, but I would tell you when it was time to denounce the man, 3 people didn't, and Josh Taylor was one of them, along with Tyson Fury, along with Mauricio Suleiman. That's all I can tell you. I'm not telling you. You notice, you know, and because I have no proof, and I don't like to throw jackets on people unfairly, and I don't like Taylor, so it could be easy for me to throw this jacket on him. But fair is fair. I am not telling you the man was involved with him, that he was hanging with Kinahan, that he was taking his money. That's the rumor, but I can't tell you that's what happened. And I don't put that on no truth that I know. The only truth that I know is when it came to denouncing, everybody denounced except them 3. Publicly. And publicly, they embraced. They didn't denounce. So, after that, you see what happened to him. He gets the gift of the fight with Catterall. Everybody who watched that fight can tell you that Catterall won that fight. After that fight, a lot of backlash. People in England, they even called the cops in England. I mean, the Congress, they're equivalent to that Congress. I mean, a lot of people was trying to right that wrong on scales that had nothing to do with boxing. And the boxing fan in public was upset. And I guess that kind of pressure got to Josh Taylor. It's hard for you to enjoy your wins or your victories when the whole world sees that it's fugazi. And that's what the world saw. Even people in Scotland, because I think they fought where Josh Taylor's from. Even those folks was like, nah, nigga, you lost. So then they try to come back and call itself making a recompense. I can't even say the word. Try to do a right, try to right a wrong by saying, oh, we're going to give Catterall a rematch. Next thing you know, let me show you how petty this nigga is. Or maybe there was something driving it. He started dropping belts like nobody business. Now, remember the rumor was he was going to move up. That's what Bob wanted when he thought he still can have Terrence under his thumb. Bob would just as soon put a fight with Josh Taylor and Terrence. Either way, Bob's still winning. They were both top-ranked fighters. Terrence would have fucked his ass up, by the way, but, so I believe. But Josh Taylor was at 140, Terrence at 147. The idea was, like most people, and you can't get mad at this neither, boxing community. If they win all the belts and they turn around and drop them, you can't get mad at it. It's their choice, and everybody's doing it. So I far be it for me to get mad at Josh Taylor for dropping his belts and moving up to fight Terrence Crawford, even though at the time, like we are today, still waiting on that Errol fight and Terrence fight, we would have felt like it was an unwelcome interference. You know what I'm saying? But why should Josh Taylor care about that? You know, he got to chase his glory, right? So Josh Taylor, for whatever reason, wouldn't move up. Again, the backlash of it all with the Catterall thing, it's unfinished business. Like his career was gonna suffer, and I figured like he had to figure a way out of it. PGA said Catterall was definitely robbed. Now Duck Taylor is running from the smoke. TL's food for Taylor. I'm and PGH. The stars line up sometimes with us, my nigga. The stars line up sometimes with us, because me and you thinking the same way tonight. And my B Mac and my Bernie Mac was when he said tonight on this show. But yeah, so Catterall finally, you know, they're gonna give him this rematch after he done dropped all the belts and only one belt left. We watched him drop belt after belt after belt, and we was like, what is he doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, he dropped the WBC, the WBA, the IBF. You know, what the hell? Because, oh, you laugh? Yeah, you watching Bernie Mac. That shit be funny as hell. So, we watched him drop the belt after belt after belt, and it was an excuse of getting married and then the honeymoon thing and something else. I can't remember what the IBF was, but, you know, so then he said, yeah. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, I had to yarn. Then he said, oh, yeah, so we're going to fight Catterall. And I'm like, Catterall, why would you fight him? But Catterall was still down for it. I guess the ego and the pride or whatever. This is when I tell y'all, man, y'all let y'all ego and pride get in the way. For me, it ain't about the mano y mano. It's about I won fair and square. Run me my motherfucking belts so I can have my legacy. That's what it's about. You know how hard it is to even get to the precipice of going for the belts. Look how these boxers make it difficult for you to even get to the point where you going for the belt. And then you get to the point where you going for the belt, and this dude drop all the motherfucking belts. No. I was like, in my opinion, if I was Catterall, I'd have been like, I'm out. I ain't fighting this nigga. Not unless I'm going to get my belts. PGA said, your bud love blinds you, Queen. We agree a lot when we aren't talking Duckford. Whatever. Your Earl Spence and PBC blinds you. See? PGA. Tomato. That what it is, PGH. Tomato. But yeah, so if I was Catterall, I'm not fighting you for mono and mono bragging rights. Run me my belts so I can go in the Hall of Fame. Shit. You know, and wouldn't that have been damn, that would have been a first European in a long time. Now, I ain't gonna say in a long time because Josh Taylor is look, I forgot he's European. But you know what I'm saying? From the UK. In the UK for a while who was undisputed that I could think of. Yeah, in the 20th century we had a few. But here lately. But that's what I would have won if I was Catterall. But Catterall still, you know, his ego and pride, yeah, let's get it on. And then, of course, something happened that delayed that. I'll talk about that later, but an injury with Josh Taylor. So the reason why I'm bringing him up now, good old Josh Taylor, cheating ass, as I say, he'll hit you in the back of the head. I do not like fighters who have a low disregard for human life, and I don't like anybody who have a disregard for human life. I don't because you should care about your fellow man more than that. Even if you don't like them, even if you're enemies or whatever, you should care enough about your fellow man that you don't want to see them hurt like a mother, like beyond, certain things is not funny no more. Get hurt to the gut from a gut punch, you'll live to tell that. You'll laugh at that one day. But how the fuck you get hit in the back of the head and become a paraplegic or something? How you live past that? I don't like shit like that, And Josh Taylor, he takes his liberties. So Teofimo better be careful if he gonna fight him. Straight up, because Teofimo might not live past that one. Now we know Teofimo lost his luster and his shine when he fought George Kambosos, somebody he shouldn't have never lost to. But he was sick. And I accept the fact that Teofimo was sick. A lot of people won't accept the fact that he was sick, that he possibly wasn't on his A game. But I accept the fact that he was, because there's no way he should have lost to no damn George Kambosos. And anybody watching that fight know that. He shouldn't have lost to no damn George Kambosos. I'm just looking. Look, I'm looking at my TV, right? I started laughing because I was trying to practice. I was trying to do something with my StreamYard, and I was just bull crapping around. And I typed in some garble, and I'm telling you, if you mess with StreamYard, even if you go back and try to delete it, it still pop up on the queue. That's crazy. Now I know. I won't do that again. But anyway, so Teofimo lost to George, and y'all see what happened, and then you got Devin Haney. And I think the shame of it all ran Teo out of the division. But maybe Teo was destined to move up because, as these fighters get older, they fill in. Teofimo is only 25 years old. He's still a young guy. Still a young pup. But he done moved up to 140, and I hope he's ready for it. But Josh Taylor and Teofimo has been ordered by the WBO. But some kind of way, and I don't know how, but some kind of way Teofimo was his number one challenger. And if anybody got any insight on that, like PGH, do you know anything about that? Because I don't know how that happened. How you lose your belts. Because when you lose all your belts and you move up, you got to get in the back of the line, right? So how you get in the back of the line and become a number one challenger with the WBO? It's some funny things going on, right? But we know that the WBO is kind of like Top Rank's belt, Bob Arum belts. Bob Arum's specialty or whatever. But some kind of way, like I said, that should raise all of your eyebrows. It should give you pause. You should be like, oh, you should ask questions. This is where you ask the questions at. Like, what the fuck? Because if you lose all your belts, there's a difference between dropping all your belts and moving up and losing them and moving up. If you lose them, it's like you never had them. You don't go to the next level with head of the line privileges in no kind of way, shape, or form. You get at the back of the line like everybody else. Now, T.O. was a good fighter until he had that showing with George Kambosos, but he, even in his showing at 140, when he fought Sandor Martin, and Sandor Martin, look, I want to see more of this guy out of Spain, because we don't typically hear about people that come out of Spain that be that kind of special in boxing or whatever. But obviously this dude he done beat Mikey Garcia. Nobody was beating Mikey Garcia, but he beat Mikey Garcia. Some people gonna say Errol Spence warmed him up for him, but he beat Mikey Garcia pretty much in his career. And now he beat he won the fight with Tio, but they didn't get him the nod. So maybe they feel like they can't sell him yet or whatever. But I'll be very interested to see how far this dude career. I want to see more of Sandor Martin. I hope you guys do too. That's a guy who got talent. He might be from Spain. Not a notarized boxers come out of Spain, but he may be the one. So let's treat him fair. So this fight is slated for May 27th this year or June 3rd in Scotland, no doubt. So now we gonna be privy to another front row seat of some BS of them cheating for him in Scotland. I don't know if Bob Arum is helping T.O. or hurting him, or helping Josh Taylor or hurting him, because that's something Bob do. I will tell you guys, in my humblest opinion, if you starting off in your boxing career, you want to get with somebody like Top Rank. You do. Because Top Rank going to keep you busy. He's going to keep you in fights. I ain't saying he'll pay you the most, but if you just starting out your career, you're not tripping on pay that much. Just the opportunities and exposure that you really tripping on. And a lot of young fighters understand that. They get enough to survive and make a little living. And, like I say, you're not getting paid a lot. You might be getting 50,000, 40,000. You might even get 100,000 depending on who you are. But the point is, he keeps you busy. And I told y'all the formula to that, to any of the young fighters out there listening, the formula to that is when they want to pay you less because that's your earning potential at the time, before you get upset, take in consideration a lot of things. How many fights you have professionally? Where did you come from? When Floyd came into his professional career, he got paid handsomely, but Floyd was a known name. His father, his uncle were known names in boxing. But not just that, Floyd made his name. He was one of the premier elite amateur fighters. He medaled in the Olympics. So of course, he didn't come in making 20,000, 30,000. Maybe not. He came in with a signing bonus from Bob Arum. Why? Because he was an elite premier fighter. And the signing bonus, I believe Floyd said, was like 100,000 or something, which set him up lovely. But then his fights were less. He wasn't getting paid as much. He wasn't getting paid $100,000 paydays. He probably was getting 50 or 60,000. But what did Floyd do? If y'all thinking about it and you guess, Floyd fought every month. He fought frequently. He fought every month. For 2.5 years, he fought every fucking month, pretty much. He took Christmas off, I'm sure, or whatever other holiday. But he pretty much fought every month for 2.5 years. You do the math. If you get paid 50,000, right? Your uncle is training you. Your uncle got money. I don't think Roger hit him across the head as far as what he had to pay. Floyd got the sign-in bonus, so Floyd could pay a little bit something. He didn't have to have an expensive ass camp. If you talk about the camps that he went to, like Pernell Whitaker and all the other notables before he came into the pro boxing, Floyd was living off of Cheetos and shit like that in a Motel 6. So I'm sure he knows how to budget. One thing, he strike me as a person who's very frugal. Or he seemed like he about money, he throw money, but I think he's more of a saver. A frugal guy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he did all this, and let's do the math. Let's say out of 12 months out the year, let me break out my calculator. You do the math. on the side. Y'all probably already know where I'm going with this. Hold on, okay, I got it. Okay, 12 months, 50,000 times 10. That's $500,000. Okay, when he got his sign-in bonus, I'm sure he went and got the Gucci belt, the Gucci shoes, whatever the fucking styles were, the cross colors or whatever we was wearing back then. You talking in 90s. With his stonewashed jeans. Oh, I remember the price on them things back then. He won't spending money. That y'all spend money today on clothes that's ridiculous as hell compared to what we was doing back then, which to my mom's generation she looked at our shit as ridiculous. Stonewashed jeans and shit. What, $25, $30. British Knights. You know, no shoes was over $50, like talking about it back then. So his sign-in bonus, I'm sure he laced himself up with all that he needed. People didn't wear a bunch of fat gold chains and shit like they do nowadays. But I mean, they did, but not, jewelry has always been important, but not like how it is now. It's ridiculous. So I'm sure Floyd laced himself up, and he probably had enough to pay for it. I bet you knowing Floyd, he had an apartment. He paid the rent out the whole year up front. I bet you he did. So now the big things that will break you, he ain't got to worry about it. I'm sure he got him a little whip. Cars didn't cost that much back then. I mean, top of the line cars that you spending $40,000, $50,000 now were $20,000 cars back then. Again, he could do all of this with that sign-in bonus. And now he's chilling. You think Uncle Roger making him pay a grip to train him? Nope. Roger and them doing that for the free. That's nephew. And he fights every month. That's $500,000 by the end of the year. Now, I'm sure he's spending some, but then as he keep fighting, because the pay for 2.5 years wasn't consistently $50,000. I'm sure by the end of that 2.5 years, Floyd was probably making $150,000 or more, or $200,000. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you, as a young fighter, you're gonna change the dynamic of your situation. Fight often, but people ain't doing that. So Teofimo, him getting it back in the line, he got to start from scratch again from the bottom. Started from the bottom, now we here. Josh Taylor, he's trying to savage with little career he got left. I think it really mentally fucked him up. The backlash he got from losing Catterall and that bullshit decision that they call. And so I guess they got to be each other Huckleberry. So that's why I say, is Bob hurting you or helping you? In a sense, Bob helps you. At the same time, he hurting you. When he had Floyd, he gave Floyd fights often. So that means you kept getting paid. He signed him. He gave him a signing bonus. This is all help, right? But he threw Floyd to the wolves too. Because some of them fights that Floyd won, I'm sure Bob didn't think he was going to win. Just like Teofimo, Bob ain't going to save you. And I actually like that about him as a promoter, because Oscar De La Hoya the same way. They're not going to save you by giving you soft touches. They'll throw you to the wolves. So they'll throw Teofimo. Throwing this fight with Josh Taylor is, in a sense, throwing Teofimo to the wolves. Because Josh Taylor could really fuck Teofimo up. If Teofimo ain't mentally ready and in shape, Josh Taylor will beat his ass to a pulp. What you think about that, PGH? Am we on the same page on this one? I think that Josh Taylor could beat him so bad to end his career. Make him think about doing something else. That's just my opinion. Dan Tan, I see you in a building. What's poppin', King? Said, what it do, Queen? Yep. So he helping T.O. by giving him a title shot. If T.O. were to win, he become a 2-division world champion. That's good for his legacy. You understand? That puts him one up over Devin Haney. Because Devin going to have to move to 140 soon. But that puts T.O. back up in the talks. But see, if T.O. were to fight Regis, that's another career ending. I think Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis could put such a hurt on T.O. that they will end his career. Like he will not want to box anymore. I really believe that. Especially Regis. But then again, you know, T.O. got it within him to survive that and to overcome that and to actually probably win. But T.O. got to be focused. A lot. What did we say T.O. needed to do? He needed to train to change up trainers. He needs to, like his dad has taken him as far as he can go. Nothing disrespectful about Senior, but his dad has taken him as far as he can go. So we all in the boxing community would have liked to see that. Josh Taylor know what to do. Will Josh Taylor be able to call on his act? Would he be able to be called to act knowing what he just went through? Because I really think he went through a mental thing by winning and getting the wrong decision. I think the backlash is kind of like what Timothy Bradley said about the backlash he got from Pacquiao fans and such. He couldn't even fully really enjoy the victory because they was hating so bad. And that's, I think, in a sense, that's what Josh Taylor has gone through. I ain't caking for the man. I don't care what he went through, to be honest. But I think that's what he gone through. So can he be called to act? Can he act on short notice? Can his body just perform the way he normally performs if he get in the ring with somebody? Now, he was supposed to have this rematch this year, I think, or last year. I think it was earlier last year with Catterall, but he wound up getting plantar fasciitis, which to anybody who's never had that, that's a serious injury. That is a real fucking injury that will sit your ass down. Let me tell you, depending on how severe it is. I mean, talking about feet burning, shit, that's a serious injury. It'll have you in tears, put it that way. Look, I'm telling y'all what I know. And it's easy to do. Once you tear those tendons, you'll always forever rip them. And that when they heal, they hurt. They hurt. It's like domes, muscle soreness. It's the same concept that you be tearing it every day. And then when it's go time to heal it, that pain, oh my God. You ain't going to be able to focus and fight, with your feet feeling like that. But that's what Josh Taylor was supposed to have suffered. So then, of course, the fight was canceled or supposed to have been postponed, but it wound up getting canceled. And Catterall, by the end of the year, probably realized, look, this dude ain't coming back. He has moved on. Catterall actually is interested in fighting Regis Prograis. In case y'all don't know, he's angling that and he's trying to go that route. Teofimo turned down a fight with Regis Prograis. He don't want that fight. Regis Prograis has come out and said if Tank Davis don't do the fight with Ryan, he'll take that fight. So people are heating up and things are starting to pop. Maybe they change it for the best. I don't know, but that's what's going on in boxing. It's weird. And I just reported yesterday that Tank Davis showed up at the Super Bowl in a wheelchair being wheeled around for an ankle injury. And now today in the news is saying he's showing off that his ankle is fine. I reported yesterday that was the case on Saturday on football. What day of football was Sunday, and today is Wednesday. So now his ankle is fine. But I told y'all that Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia's fight will be won with speed and power. That's the determining factor. So him having an ankle injury is a bad thing to me, in my opinion. But Tank wants the world to know today that he has his ankle is good. Regis wants the world to know if Tank don't show up, I'll take care of that light work. Teofimo probably don't want to blast to the world that he turned down the fight with Regis. So buck bark, as you say, PGH. Buck bark. Josh Taylor, we don't even know what kind of mental state he in. He done dropped all his belts. I don't know. I think the boxing world giving him backlash for his pronouncement instead of denouncement. You know what I'm saying? As I was explaining earlier, you know, people like the Furies and Josh Taylor catching backlash for their pronouncement of that Public Enemy #1 guy. So, not saying that, you know, again, I ain't putting no jacket on this man. I can't tell you he's affiliated. Won't tell you that. I can tell you he never denounced them. More so proclaimed them, but he never denounced them. So anyway, Catterall, like I said, he moving towards the Regis route. Interesting turn of events. The question that should give everybody pause is how did Teofimo become the WBO #1 challenger when he lost all his belts? And you only fought Sandor Martin, and that was a controversial split decision where most of the boxing community and the people who watched the fight had him losing. So how he go from that to the #1 challenger in the WBO? And keep in mind that it's a win-win for Bob Arum, because Josh Taylor is a top-ranked fighter. Teofimo is a top-ranked fighter. And we know that Bob has an affinity or some kind of close bond with the WBO. What top rank that is. So that's the 411 on that one. Moving on. Yo, this is crazy. For all the talk about Jake Paul, right? I'm moving on, y'all. Actually, I'm going to drop this link. If y'all have anything extra to add to it, you can. But for all the talk about Jake Paul and his legitimacy or lack thereof, if he fights Tommy Fury, do you know he's going to be world ranked? They about to move towards the direction of legitimizing this dude. I would say Jake Paul has proved that it's more than just a fad or a gimmick with him when it comes to fighting. He takes it seriously. He trains this, that, and the other. But I would say his career has gone in a way that's untraditional, and one can look at it like it's not fair. I mean, not that he broke a law and anything like that, but people can look at it like it's not fair, but you can't really say it's not fair. But it's untraditional, no doubt. So he has the fame, the glory, the privileges that other fighters take years to earn and build up to get to. He has that in the beginning, rather than 15, 20 fights in later. So Jake Paul, one of the biggest gripes is like, well, he ain't a real fighter. Because all he fighting is old MMA motherfuckers, and he ain't fighting no real boxers. He ain't making a weight in the cut like everybody else. He ain't fighting for no belts and blah, 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 blah. Well, I guess Jake Paul been hearing y'all. Because I'm sure he had to put his bid in to get people to start looking at him differently. Because if he beats Fury, if that fight ever should go down, And I don't know how it is. It won't be going down in the States because the Furies can't come over here. But if he should ever beat Fury, he's going to be world rank. Once he's world rank, he got to get it out the mud like the rest of them. Dan Tan said Bob Arum worked his magic the same way Al Heyman pulled strings for Keith Thurman's ranking. But Dan, I got to explain to you though. I feel you, and let me somebody asked me something. I feel you, Dan Tan. Y'all. Somebody asked me how I'm feeling. The truth of the matter, Dan Tan, is that Keith Thurman legitimately is where he's supposed to be. Now, I put that out before. Sometimes I be saying that. I be wondering if sometimes if people be hearing me or whatever. But Dan, I have put this out before. Like when Keith Thurman back in the day gave up his WBC belt, nobody asked him to. Mauricio didn't ask him to. I wasn't aware of any pressure for Keith Thurman to give up his belt. The pressure was Errol Spence crying all the goddamn time about the fact that Keith ain't giving him an opportunity and that Keith was holding up the welterweight division. That was the crime of the century, right? So Keith decided to give up the belt, probably on his own. But he was like, and this is something Mauricio offers everybody recently, been trying to give it to Tyson Fury, Mauricio Sulaiman. He'll give this to anybody. Andre Ward has been a recipient of this. So before we start knocking the different fighters who've been recipients of it or whatever, let me just tell you, it's across the board. Your favorite fighters included. But and if Earl wanted to do it, I'm sure they would work out a deal for him to do it too. But he dropped the belt. So now the belt became available. Now Mauricio can make money off of sanctioning fees. Other people can become champion, whoop the whoop, all that good stuff. So when he dropped the belt, Mauricio made him emeritus ranked person, or gave him the emeritus belt, which simply means when you're ready to be back in position, you automatically go to the number one spot. So Dan Tan, this is something that the WBC have been doing for years. This was not made up specifically for Keith or anybody else. This has been around a long time before they even got into boxing. That emeritus belt, you don't hear much about it. They don't brag about it. They don't say nothing about it. But, just when we about to corner them and be like, aha, I caught you with your hand in the cookie jar. They be like, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. How the fuck you number one? I had the emeritus belt. And we walk into that every time, Dan. So, yeah, Bob Arum is working his magic. I agree with you. But Keith Thurman legitimately got his position. And I say legitimate because it's the rules. We can't get mad at him for utilizing the rules. None of us can. But getting back to Jake Paul, once Jake Paul is ranked and everything, what we going to say? We're going to say he's not a legit fighter. We're going to say he just picking and choosing. Once he ranked, in order to keep his ranking, which you would suspect he will, he going to have to fight. He going to have to get it out the mud. He going to have to fight those other ranked members. Which could make him vulnerable in the whole grand scheme of things as any other fighter, is vulnerable when they run in their career. You could be a champion today and a person who lost tomorrow. Y'all see how I was real careful not to say loser. There's no losers. They're all champs in their heart. Dan Tan said there should have been an expiration date with that favor for Thurman. It's not a favor. Like normally, Dan, the dude just rides off into the sunset. You know, it's always possible that the fighter ride off into the sunset, never come back, and never try to reclaim their position and just go ahead and retire. A lot of times it be like that, Dan. But Keith Thurman, he don't want to go away. Dan Ted said ranked as in the top 10. Yeah. Well, world ranking, meaning he ranked. They didn't say top 10, top 5, or whatever. But once you ranked, you know how you gonna move then. You know you're gonna look real silly if you rank, let's say, number 7, and you're picking people that's number 18 on the ranking. You're going to look real silly if you Jake Paul and you're a ranked fighter. You know, you got some legitimacy now, and you keep getting MMA people that ain't even ranked. You know, if Jake Paul still feel like he wants something more than money, y'all got to think Jake Paul was rich when he came in the joint. Money is not impressing him. Things that would get to everybody else, Jake Paul already had. You know, young fighters trying to get to that. Al Money is in the building. What's poppin'? King said, Miss T, what's up? What's good with you, Al? He says, Fury rank, he might be. Dan, he might be, I don't know. But Fury is considered more of a legitimate fighter than Jake Paul. I believe Jake Paul might got something for his ass. That's why they just can't seem to get it together. Because all of them fights ain't about Fury can't get in the country. Fury could get in the country. I think that first time they were supposed to fight, but he dropped that ball, and then I don't know, maybe he wasn't ready or something. I'm not for sure certain. But Jake Paul won his ass. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's interesting. I think it's shaking up boxing yet again. Taking out some of the talking points and the narratives yet again. Jake Paul wants to be considered a real fighter. Well, this is his way to do that. Like I said, I cannot say he was wrong for how his career go. You know, this man has the fame, the fortune, and privileges of a fighter that been fighting for, you know, decades, you know, or have 25 to 30 fights under their belts or something. He was getting all that rights and privileges. But yeah, he wasn't fighting nobody. And I say nobody respectfully, meaning who was his fighters that were real boxers. So, you know, in their field of expertise, they are somebody, MMA fighters. But in boxing, they're nobodies. Because that's not their field. So it was hard to take Jake Paul seriously, but y'all about to start taking him seriously now. Y'all ain't gonna be able to say much. You ain't gonna be able to say much. So what y'all think about that? I mean, you know, to me, I think it's a good thing. Like I said, anything to shake up boxing, get people back to why we love boxing and what we're supposed to be doing in boxing, and making it fair and getting it out the mud. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button, y'all, while y'all in here. I do sound funny to me. Like how I talk, I'm taking my pause or using my inflections a little bit different. I gotta get back in the swing of things, get used to things. But I'm gonna move on to another piece of little nugget. So I told y'all before that Regis Progress, that whole what he trying to do for himself. Y'all know that Regis Progress is signed with Pro Bellum. Pro Bellum almost got hit across the head being so-called involved with Daniel Canahan, but Pro Bellum proved that they don't have such dealings with this guy. And there was a group in England. Remember, I reported on it. We do have a new promotional company on the block, but they don't really come over here, and they're called Boxers. I think it's some Americans use them. Some Americans use them. Maybe some of the females, because a lot of females are fighting on cars and with organizations overseas because they respect them more over there than in our own states. Shout outs to all the folks that went over there, had the fortitude and the right mind to go over there. Clarissa Shields, Baumgartner, folks like that. Go where you respect it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe America will catch up. But Boxers tried to tag Pro Bellum or put the jacket on Pro Bellum, kind of like how people try to do with Bud with the Daniel Canahan thing. And Pro Bellum was like, nah. Richard Schaefer heads that up. So this is the guy that headed Golden Boy when Oscar and Floyd did all that business. Floyd made as much money as he did with Golden Boy, Richard Schaefer, people like that. That was a winning team. Once Richard Schaefer left Golden Boy, you see how Golden Boy took a nosedive. Then Golden Boy is now making a resurgence. It's almost like I said yesterday, who woke the sleeping giant up? A lot of it got to do, to me, with Fox falling back and Showtime having the issue they have. By the way, Showtime laid off approximately about 120 people. Probably like 20. Telling you guys that Showtime is gone. And if you look at most of the fight made, but they were talked about or projected, but it ain't real. I told y'all that Keith Thurman and Earl Spence was a stall tactic. I told y'all that shit. I told y'all there wasn't no real fight going down. Because if it was real, then why not postpone them dates? The original date was December 17th with just the WBC. When the WBA laid into it, then it became February. And it was no concrete date. Neither time did they ever have an official announcement. And they so-called supposed to postpone it. But then he said April, May, or June. And now look at what Mike Carpenter coming out and different people saying they're getting close to finalizing it. I told y'all that was some bullshit. Told y'all. He biding time. PGH, what you got to say about your boy on that one? I told you. But anyway, Regis Progress agreed to fight Ryan Garcia if Tank pull out. Now Tank had everybody worried because he showed up to the Super Bowl this past weekend in the wheelchair talking about his ankle. Now, a couple of days later, he's bragging. I'm just telling you guys, I just read it before I came on. He's trying to make everybody aware and self-assured that his ankle is not a problem. I told y'all this fight is speed and power. That's with them two. It's gonna be about speed and power. So if Tank got an injury on his ankle, I don't care what nobody say. He can heal up, but he ain't gonna be quite the same between here and April 15th is when they supposed to fight. How much healing you think his ankle gonna do? There would be some degradation. How much degradation? We don't know, but there will be. But now the question is, will Ryan agree to fight Regis? Because as I said for Teofimo, I'm gonna say it for Ryan. Regis is the type of fighter that can end their career and they be done. We don't still know, do Ryan still want to be a boxer? He knows he can beat Tank. For some reason, he knows he can beat Tank. But do he want to still be a boxer? We don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he want to fight him because I believe it's a career ender. I think Josh Taylor could be a career ender for T.O. T.O. better be on his game. He better be able to move with his right and left flank. Every time Josh try to spin him and move around and shit, T.O. better be just as nimble and in shape and got plenty of energy like Josh Taylor gonna have. Because Josh Taylor gonna hit him all up and down the back of his back and in the back of his head, and he gonna fuck T.O. up. So that's what I'm seeing. That's what I see on the horizon. So I don't know. Y'all can tell me what you think. I think a couple of times in there if y'all want to get in here. Dan Chan said Tommy Fury only has 8 fights. Do he? That's it? But he's more of a legitimate fighter than Jake Paul. Let the boxing world tell it. It's not about their talent and what they could do. It's more so the structure in which they formed their career in. Jake Paul, for all intents and purposes, he cannot get mad at this. People can say that we didn't know if he was a fluke or a fad or what. I mean, you don't know. This could have been all just a game to him. If you look at his, I don't even want to say career, because he was a social media darling. That's what it was. But if you look at his career in social media, he was just a shock social media type person. They did shocking things, and he probably got to the point. I think the Logan and Jake got so bored with their life, like everything probably came easy to them, and they seem like down to earth type people, and they probably was like, well, look, we got to challenge ourselves, you know. When you have that kind of lifestyle where shit just come easy, you gotta dig deep and try to have something challenging so you can feel alive. Some people like the easy route, like your boy Earl Spence, PGH. I mean, he did say the easy route, PGH. I call him Scary Spence or Scary Fish. But some people like the easy route and some people don't. You know, what did Tupac say? Tease me, I don't want it if it's that easy. Or something like that. You don't want stuff that just come real easy. You get bored with that quick. Anything. That's anybody. So Jake Paul decided to get a boxing career, and granted, even what he was doing when he was fighting YouTubers and now MMA fighters, it's not easy. It wasn't easy. Nothing he was doing was easy. I put it to you this way: even what he's doing, the average square couldn't do. I couldn't do. I'm not training like he did, just getting in there with Woodley. Hell no. But but it's not easy. But in the grand scheme of things of boxing itself, boxing fans do have a right to say, that's easy. You're doing the easy thing. Because that's what it looked like he was doing, right? So he wants to rectify that. He tired of y'all talking shit, acting like he ain't no real fighter. So look what he doing now. And I applaud him. I mean, if he gets ranked and then he start fighting other ranked members and start going for a gold and doing it like a real boxer, because then that makes you vulnerable. That's the beautiful thing about boxing. You're not going to get easy touches every time. Sometimes the very style of that person can throw you off and make you lose a fight, even though you can fight better or hit harder. You know, that's what makes it beautiful. And when you got empty suits getting in the way and you know, trying to put stuff together just to be a moneymaker, and then fighters not adhering to some type of structure. You know, if your structure is I just want to make money, you will be easily forgotten. If your structure is I want to leave a legacy, I want you to remember that I was that shit. You know, I was that nigga. Then you'll be remembered. And by the way, you guys go out and get that game. Like I'm telling you, I'm gonna play the game tonight too. That game is all that. So holla at you guys. I have no more. I gotta get back in the swing of things again. I'm gonna talk about more than just the hot ticket items. Can't talk about Terrence and Earl all the time. Although I heard that they're back in negotiations, which makes sense to me. But I ain't, you know, I'm not gonna big that up or nothing because I don't know what's gonna happen. And then again, as I always keep saying, that fight between them two is not like an absolute like one way or the other. I just lean towards Terrence. PGH, my brother there, he leans towards Earl. And we'll see whenever it happens which one's gonna carry the day. But until then, in my Pamela James voice, peace.